end up being the 6th because they probably wanted this Texas A&M rivalry. Got to remember Texas coming to the SEC.
Well, and it's foreshadowing, but it's also Ghost of Christmas Past as well. So from the old days of the rivalry. But yeah,
who do you have winning that game?
Texas and Texas A&M. I actually have A&M.
I have A&M winning as well. Texas is the hot team, but I like this A&M team. They've got big guards. They're a physical team.
Now, the question on nobody's mind except for Michelle's, because we're all in this bracket pool together, is who do I have cutting down the nets here in a few weeks?
Dun, 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 dun.
So I will give you the Final Four.
Okay.
My Final Four – actually, I lied to you. I do have Texas. Sorry. I did that in another – I filled out a couple of different brackets, and there are some that I did – I did kind of go opposite. But in the one for the show, and I do have the same champion in every bracket.
Okay, that's fair.
My Final Four is Alabama and Duke. I have Duke defeating Alabama.
Okay, so they're on your East.
Yep. And then I have Texas and UCLA, and I have UCLA defeating Texas.
So you have a matchup between UCLA and Duke. Wow, that would be...
And I have UCLA cutting down the nets.
Okay, so that would be their 10th or 11th national championship. They still have the most in history with
and I'm trying
Wooden there.
I'm trying to think. They did win. They won one without Wooden, I think. But, I have UCLA, and I think they're 15-1. So.
Did you put a little money on it? That's the real question.
Oh, yeah, of course I did. But I did not go chalk, so.
You didn't. So actually, which people might think is probably crazy, for me, I actually have 3 SEC teams in my Final Four.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Bama, Kentucky.
And A&M. So maybe not the hot picks, and then I also have Kansas as that 4th team. But I have matching up in the final, Alabama defeating Kentucky in the Final Four, and I have Kansas defeating Texas A&M in the Final Four, and then having those two face each other, a Kansas-Alabama, and I have Kansas winning it again.
Ooh.
I've watched them all year.
I know. They are good.
They look so put together. But the best thing about March is not always the best team from top to bottom wins. So a lot of people I've seen have Alabama making it to the Final Four. We brought up an interesting stat. I forgot who. I think it was somebody on the text line. The number 1 overall seed hasn't won the tournament since 2013.
Yep.
Which would have been the Louisville team.
Yep.
So pretty.
But should they have to take that one down? Was that one they had to?
Yeah, I guess they kind of didn't win it.
Is that one that's?
Yeah, so I guess
Patino's transgressions.
That one may not even count. So
I don't know. Junie, did 2013? Did Louisville have to vacate that? 2013, did Louisville have to vacate that one?
Yes.
So
yes, okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
So
I think they gave it back to them.
They may have. I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Junie Riddle, our Louisville resident. So
if that says anything, I know a couple other teams that some ESPN personalities have picked to be in the Final Four. Houston's a big one.
Yeah.
I saw actually Tom Hart has Missouri going to the Final Four, so it'll be interesting to see how many SEC teams.
Missouri?
I know.
What? Mm-hmm. What is he on?
Missouri, though, like, listening to Dennis Gates at the SEC tournament, their head coach, this week, I mean, he is, if you watch him during a game, his facial expression, he is locked in. He's like Jerry Stackhouse when you watch during a game, just absolutely locked into the game, doesn't let his emotions get the best of him like we see with, an Eric Musselman, a Bruce Pearl, some of the other SEC coaches. And
Cal.
Yeah, Cal. He gets a little crazy, too.
Bruce gets really sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce
he wins for
really sweaty.
Pitts.
Yes, he does. Texter on the text line, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Louisville did get the title back. They just got it back. I have never, all right, mini rant. I have never understood what you are accomplishing by taking banners down and taking titles away.
Taking Heisman's away.
Taking Heisman's away. Like, it's done. It has been done. We are all going to remember that it actually happened. So what are you accomplishing by saying, oh, well, you broke the rules, or one person on your team broke the rules, so we're going to take it away from you? who cares?
Or
you think the player's giving the ring back? You think they're giving the piece of the net back?
Or not putting Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame
Like,
when he
good
literally
Lord,
is one of the
people,
best baseball players ever.
I know. Well, right. And I mean, Barry Bonds should be in. Clemens should be in.
Yeah.
Because you can make the argument that, okay, yes, they roided up, but they still would have been a Hall of Famer anyway.
Exactly.
And yeah,
sports
that's a whole
is weird and crazy, and I just opened up a whole nother can of worms
you did,
right there.
And like that just that sets me up, for something. But anyway, looking forward to it as the tournament tips off today, and Tennessee playing tonight. But look, I think some of the games that we have early on are going to be fun, and we will keep you abreast of all of that. But coming up next, a big signing in NFL free agency. A guy is finally off the market, and a friend of mine is very happy about it. But we will discuss that, and also a decision was finally made. We'll do that coming up next. It's Chase and Michelle. We're live today from Jasper's on Weston Avenue. We'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing here today because it is our watch party. 1918 Weston Avenue for the first day of tournament games. You can come out and enjoy the games with us. And while you're here, take advantage of the Shot and a Beer special. That's a shot of Nelson's Greenbrier Tennessee whiskey plus a bottle of domestic beer for just $10. Jasper's. Oversized bar, TVs, and game room make them the place to catch all of the games. Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
We are your home for every big pass.
Kevin Harvick takes over the race lead.
Big wreck.
Trouble turn 2. One car is around and hard into the outside wall.
And big win.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
Yeah! Woo!
Catch every lap of NASCAR on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The team at Mercedes-Benz of Music City have done it again. Here's Edwin Vickery to explain.
4-time recipient of Best of the Best. Less than 10% of the dealers in the country receive this award. How did you do it? We say culture, eat strategy for lunch, because we can strategize all we want. But unless you have the right culture and chemistry in the dealership, it will not work.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
If you compare a diamond from Genesis Diamonds to one you find somewhere else, one thing will always stand out. The Genesis diamond is, well, prettier and more brilliant.
We will show you why our diamond's light performance is significantly greater than things you can get elsewhere.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
Not just because of the color and the clarity, but because of things a certificate can't tell you. Because of the characteristics, the personality, the material.
It's the extra step in quality control that comes from an owner obsessed with perfection.
Our owner is incredibly picky when he buys diamonds, searching through hundreds just to get a handful. You will not see diamonds that have the fire at your average mall store or chain store or smaller independent because they don't have the access worldwide like Genesis Diamonds does. Our diamond's light performance, character, and explosive brilliance is bar none the best your money can buy.
Don't compromise with a diamond that just looks good on paper. Get a diamond that reflects your love in the best light possible.
This diamond has to be spectacular.
Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
For one day only, Saturday, March 25th, get 5+ acres and a new cabin package on sale for only $69.9 during the Nashville Acreage Grand Opening Land Sale. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get the best of both worlds. Flat, usable, prime Nashville acreage with the biggest and most spectacular ridgeline views in the entire Nashville area. Priced below market prices. Come explore this recreational paradise and make your dreams of owning exceptional Nashville acreage a reality for less. With 5+ acres and a new cabin package for just $69.9. Best of all, these properties include first-class infrastructure like county water, electric, and county road frontage. All huge advantages in today's market. Appointment times are filling up fast. Call now to book your private tour. 615-437-6348. That's 615-437-6348. Cabin kit package for materials only. Delivered to site by third party. Taxes and delivery not included. Price is subject to change without notice or obligation. Call for complete details. An equal housing opportunity.
when you want live and local.
If they were just better at the offensive line,
you can be a contender in the AFC again.
They've had more winning seasons than not. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game has you covered. Looking for some national programming?
Why do I want to get a running back like that 5 more years?
The AFC now is so deep at quarterback.
Check out 94.9 The Fan. Nashville's home for all things sports is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and 94.9 The Fan. Taking you through your mid-morning.
Love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This is Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club. Love your hair. Live your life.
Where'd you find those crazy characters?
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We're at Jasper's on West End Avenue. Our man David James back at the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. You can hit us up anytime on the phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. And remember, they haven't tipped off yet. You got about 2 hours, but you can go to thegamenashville.com, sign up for our official bracket challenge brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and the Bluffs at Rocky Ridge. Enjoy the biggest and best views in the Nashville area from your dream acreage home site. Call now at 866-GET-LAND. Go to thegamenashville.com/bracket challenge or the Game Nashville app and pick your teams for a chance to win tickets to see Luke Combs at Nissan Stadium on Saturday, April 15th. Cannot wait for that, for sure. All right, free agency going on in the NFL. It officially opened yesterday. I was producing the afternoon show, and Jared, right at 3 o'clock, had his Happy New Year for the new league year, and that's when the Titans made some things official. And before we get to Orlando Brown Jr., who signed a big deal with the Cincinnati Bengals, I do want to hit on that because right at 3 o'clock, the Titans send out that they have tendered 2 restricted free agents. Teair Tart gets a second-round tender. That doesn't really surprise me.
Nope.
So I like that for him. I think they'll get a deal worked out, but he deserves it. Aaron Brewer got a second-round tender. That did surprise me, but it also told me that Aaron Brewer is going to be the starting center for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Chase, I definitely agree. I agree with that. I mean, you're not going to pay a guy that amount if he's going to be a backup for you. That was the first thing I thought. By the Tennessee Titans doing that, that meant that Aaron Brewer is their starting center. I mean, we saw him play at that position a couple times last year when Ben Jones was injured with the concussion. But a part of me looked at it and thought maybe they would try to draft a center, go out and get a center, whether it be in free agency or within the draft. But based off the moves that they've made, getting the offensive lineman from the 49ers, getting Andre Dillard, and then giving this deal to Aaron Brewer, that signifies to me that he will be your starting center because you're not paying him that amount of money, $4 million, to be your backup.
Right. It's a lot of money for him, and I don't love it, but I get it because it's kind of an insurance policy of, that you're going to have him and he's going to be your starting center. But I didn't love that. They also tendered Naquan Jones as an exclusive rights free agent, and so they got that done with the restricted free agents yesterday. Orlando Brown Jr. gets a big deal with the Cincinnati Bengals as they continue to shore up that offensive line, signing him to a 4-year, $64 million deal, which is obviously a big thing for Joe Burrow to have a bona fide left tackle to help protect him.
Yeah, I saw that deal actually this morning, Chase, because I had an early night last night, but I saw that this morning, and I thought, Cincinnati, they said they upped their offensive line last season, and poor Joe Burrow was still one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the entire NFL. So when you look at that, I'm sure if you're Joe Burrow, you're pleasantly surprised, or you're happy about that because they've been struggling with their offensive line throughout the entire season. I mean, one of I think it was their right tackle. He got hurt right before the playoffs. Wasn't able to play. They struggled with injuries, and if I'm not mistaken, Tom Pelissero reported that this will be the largest ever deal for an offensive lineman. Yeah, so He will get a 4-year, $64 million front-loaded deal with the Bengals that include over $31 million in signing bonuses. So the largest ever for an offensive lineman, which is, I mean, that's huge. That's what he was looking for this offseason. You and I talked about it, not in the cards for the Tennessee Titans right now. I mean, if you look at this Bengals team, they're able to do things like that because they have a quarterback and 2 star wide receivers still on rookie deals.
Yeah, I wouldn't have paid him that if I'm the Titans, going with the plan that they're on. I mean, good for him. He got paid for sure, but I wouldn't have done that necessarily. I thought I was going to sneeze. Sorry.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you anyways. No, I mean, and I think that the moves the Tennessee Titans have made, you can already see what this offensive line is going to look like. Aaron Brewer, I think it's fair to assume that he's going to be your center. You've got Nicholas Petit-Frere at right tackle. Whether Andre Dillard, I don't know if you're going to want him to be your left tackle or if he's going to stick in one of those guard positions, but let's just put him at left tackle. Then you get
I think he's a left tackle right now, unless they draft somebody.
Left tackle, then you get Brunskill from San Francisco. He'll be in one of those guard positions. Okay, now you can see a line that already from last year, I mean, we need to see how they work together, but is leaps and bounds just by the quality of player that you're having on that line. Say you draft a guy, and you can have the San Francisco Brunskill coming from San Francisco next to Nicholas Petit-Frere, maybe. So you get a veteran presence on that side with Nicholas Petit-Frere. You hope he takes another step up next year. Then you have Andre Dillard as your left tackle next to maybe a rookie that you draft, and then you have Aaron Brewer at center. So already just a couple days into free agency, the new year started yesterday at 3 p.m., already, if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, you have to be feeling a lot more confident in this offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And I'd be curious, if they decide to put Brunskill at left guard or right guard, wherever they want to put him. But I still believe they're going to draft a couple of offensive linemen.
Which they should.
Absolutely, whether they're starters or not. But and they may very well sign another guard. You never know. But and I'll say this too. I'm still not 100% convinced that they love Petit-Frere. Vrabel said we may have 5 new offensive linemen. So I'm not 100% that they're convinced there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And to your point on, we've talked about before, could we see the Tennessee Titans maybe trade back to get some more draft picks in the first or second round? And if they aren't sure about Petit-Frere, okay, draft a guy and give him some competition. Make them work for that spot. See who can earn that position. Because coming into last year, we assumed that Dylan Radins would be the right tackle, and Petit-Frere as a rookie came in and they felt more confident in throwing him out there than a guy like Dylan Radins. So when you look at this line too, I personally think, I mean, at every position you need to be drafting, especially at the offensive line, because those positions, not only your starting guys, but you want to have depth at that position, which is something we didn't see last year.
Yeah. And the one thing that they always had was somebody like Dennis Kelly that could be that swing tackle that could play guard, he could play tackle, what have you. I think they definitely need to look into that. But moving on from something other than the Titans, there is one decision that has finally been made. And we can all sleep easy now because we know where Aaron Rodgers is going to play. This was from the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
And I haven't been holding anything up at this point. It's been compensation that the Packers are trying to get for me and kind of digging their heels in. So I would just I think it is interesting at this point to step back and look at the whole picture.
All right. So I'm going to say this. I watched a lot of this yesterday, and I know you were too.
I was multitasking.
Yeah, but it is my hope in life that I find somebody that loves me as much as Aaron Rodgers loves Aaron Rodgers. Because that dude loves him some Aaron Rodgers. Like, he is so narcissistic. I wanted to retire a Packer. No, you didn't. Get out of here. Like, I bet if you run into fans Packer fans that you're talking so glowingly about, like, you run away. You know, like, come on. Just get out of here. So it looks like he's going to be a Jet. I know Charles Robinson was on Robbie and Rexrow this morning talking about, you know, the compensation. I don't think they're going to get – they're definitely not getting 2 first-rounders.
No.
I don't think they're going to get a first-rounder. Maybe, but they shouldn't. But I do wonder, and I, you know, D. Mace and I were kind of talking about this yesterday. I do wonder if the longer this goes, does another team come in and try. Now, Aaron would have to, you know, Aaron could very, you know, he could say, hey, I'm going to retire. You know, let's say if the Titans came along and, you know, tried to do it, but which they're not. But I this whole thing is just like, okay, good. Now we can move on. But where does it put the Jets when it comes to the AFC? I think this is interesting because you have them as probably the 4th. I would put them slightly ahead of the Bills. You know, especially, you know, if Lazard signed and, you know, Mercedes Lewis is a good blocking tight end, Randall Cobb's going to be there just because that's his buddy. You know, Bakhtiari is the only one that they're probably not going to be able to get.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of his best friends. But and then that young receiving core and that defense. I actually think the Jets will be pretty good. If you get focused in it to win it, Aaron, chip on his shoulder, Aaron, they're going to be dangerous.
Well, I kind of look at it too, Chase, quickly. Who has the leverage in there? So, you know, the Packers have the leverage. Aaron Rodgers can go on there and say, yeah, I want to be a Jet. I want to play for the Jets. But if the Jets aren't willing to offer up what the Packers want, he's still under contract. So to your point of could this get drug out longer and the Jets are signing these guys that Aaron Rodgers wants and a deal not come to fruition, I do ultimately think that the Jets will get a deal done because their fan base already thinks they're getting Aaron Rodgers. They're excited about this Aaron Rodgers movement. They feel confident about their team and they can get a Hall of Fame quarterback. But they're signing Allen Lazard. They're getting the guys that Roger wants. But ultimately, the Packers hold the keys right now. The Packers need to give it the okay and be on the same page as the Jets. And I could see this getting dragged out for a little bit longer just because the Packers know that they have to okay the trade, whereas the Jets are like, well, we don't want to give up a first-round pick. Okay.
Right.
Well, Packers are sitting here. Okay, no problem.
If I'm the Jets and they go, okay, we'll give you a first-round pick, but you're eating some of the money. That's the negotiating tactic there. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, wide receiver 1. Do we believe that can be Treylon Burks? Because this is a position that they have not addressed as of yet. Will the Titans do that before the draft? We'll discuss that coming up next. Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
185!
Every team needs a quarterback.
185!
That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown.
Tim.
You can run good plays at the right time.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
You evaluate players, and then you're turning them over to the coaching staff.
Every Tuesday at noon.
At the right time.
With Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Tim on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's up, everybody? Michelle Knezovic here for Superbook Sports. It is the best day of the year because we have got college basketball all day long. The first game to kick off the tournament, West Virginia and Maryland at 11:15, right after Chase and I get off the air. I'm taking Maryland plus the 3. I think they also win outright, so I'm going to take them plus 135 on the money line and make 2023 the year when you beat Vegas. Superbook gives you the chance every single week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. One of the reasons I love Superbook is because there's no fancy computer algorithms, no guys across the pond setting lines for American sports, just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at Superbook in Las Vegas. Another game I'm looking at, I think this could be a little upset central. Furman plus 6 over Virginia. I also think they win outright plus 220 on the money line. And Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets anywhere. So all you got to do is just download the Superbook Sportsbook app or visit superbook.com to start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789.
Welcome to Smashville. Join us at Bridgestone Arena coming up Thursday, March 16th for St. Patrick's Day as your Nashville Predators take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Make sure you purchase the special St. Patty's Day pack. It's presented by Corner Pub, and it's available now at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. The pack includes 2 tickets to the game, $20 in Nash cash, and $1 lucky 1 Scotch Ales at Downtown Corner Pub, starting at just $129. Let's go, Preds!
It's electric in Smashville. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 429 has a new path to a dignified career. Local 429 is accepting applications for the highest skilled electricians and linemen and is providing the best training in Middle Tennessee. They are the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 429. Call them at 615-889-4429 or go online to IBEW429.org. IBEW Local 429, your proud 7th man since the beginning. Go Preds.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days. And a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. It's that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
Losing your hair? It's Chase McCabe. No matter your age, gender, or type of hair loss, it's never a good feeling when you see too much hair in your brush or you begin to notice bald spots. For 45 years, Hair Club has helped more than 500,000 members get hair they love. If you're affected by hair loss and not sure what to do, let Hair Club help customize a solution for you. For a limited time, get 10% off when you book a free consultation today and get started at hairclub.com/chase. That's hairclub.com/chase.
At the law office of Amanda J. Gentry, we are committed to defending your rights. We have a team committed to helping you navigate the court system, whether you've been accused of a crime or you're going through a messy divorce in custody. Call our team to help you navigate this system. We are here to protect your rights, to demand your rights, to enforce your rights. 615-604-6263. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Chase and Michelle podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to thegamenashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
I got some good news. Taking you through your mid-morning, this is Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club. Love your hair. Live your life. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Yeah! Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It's tournament day. Live at Jasper's here on West End Avenue. And looking forward to getting the tournament underway and watching some of these games that we will be doing here. They got a ton of TVs. They got an awesome bar space that you can check out and watch these games in. But enjoy a shot and a beer special, a shot of Nelson's Greenbrier Tennessee whiskey, plus a bottle of domestic beer for just $10. Jasper's upscale bar fare, oversized bar, TVs, and game room make them the place to catch all the games this year. They're going to open right at 11 when we're done. So we're just kind of getting everybody warmed up.
Yes, we are.
And so I expect at 11 o'clock to look out that door and see a line of people wanting to come in here to get Michelle's autograph and also watch games.
How about this? Just get live reaction or me in my element watching college basketball games at 11:15, which we got Maryland, West Virginia, a great game to kick off the tournament. Chase.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. But continuing the discussion on the Tennessee Titans and the wide receiver room, which you know the gif of Will Smith and the Fresh Prince where he's looking around in the empty room? That's what Treylon Burks is doing right now. Yep. I know Kyle Phillips, Racey McMath, they're still there. And I hope Kyle Phillips has a good year. Racey too, but I hope Kyle Phillips can be that slot receiver that they wanted him to be. I'm really wanting that out of him. But the Titans have done nothing to address the receiver position as of yet. So what are they going to do? That's the question. Trevor Maddich, ESPN college football analyst, was on Stillman and Company on Tuesday and talked a little bit about the receivers in this draft.
Yeah, I am not thrilled at receivers at the top end here. And I'm not thrilled at the Titans taking a receiver at number 11. I mean, there are some guys whose names have been mocked to them. Quentin Johnston out of TCU is one of the ones that's gone, in conversation to them very often. He's 6'3", 208. He's the kind of guy that wins with size. He's outstanding at winning with size. And he's got good separation speed. In other words, he can just turn on that extra gear and stride it out to get open down the field. So all those things are good, but he also showed some inconsistency. He also doesn't catch as many touchdowns at TCU as I thought he might. I mean, Max Duggan, his quarterback, threw 32 touchdown passes last year. Johnston caught 6 of them. Just 6 at 6'3"? You would think there'd be more going on there.
That was Trevor Maddich on Stillman and Company. And I agree. Last year's draft was so deep at receiver. I mean, that's why even before the Titans traded A.J. Brown, there was discussion that they could draft Treylon Burks in their original draft spot and have both of them. Plus, they brought in Robert Woods. And looking back on it, I kind of wish that had happened, but didn't. But this draft not as deep when it comes to receiver, even though I do think there's some talent there. I believe in the next day or so, now as we kind of shift into the second wave of free agency, you will see them make a couple of signings, I think. Now, tight end's another one. I hope Austin Hooper, they bring him back. I still feel good about that, but I would love for them to bring Austin Hooper back at tight end. And so you have Chigakonkwo and Austin Hooper. You can get a blocking tight end somewhere too. But then receiver, I mean, there's some of these bargain basement receivers that you could bring in. I know I kind of threw out DJ Shark. Some people like that, some people don't. He's another guy that is inconsistent and can, is injury prone. I've thrown out Corey Davis's name, again, injury prone. So you got to be careful there. But I think you'll probably see them sign one of these guys in the next few days. But are they going to be wide receiver 2? And is Treylon Burks truly wide receiver 1?
Well, this is my question, and that's part of the reason I wanted to hear that clip from Trevor Maddich, because he spoke specifically on the draft. The wide receivers in this draft, they aren't great this year. You mentioned last year's draft, the comparison between different draft classes. You also look at the free agent market with wide receivers right now. Not great. I don't see any guy in there who could be a wide receiver 1 for this Tennessee Titans team. So then you look to what the wide receiver core is right now for the Tennessee Titans. You have Treylon Burks, who was your number 1 or your first round draft pick last year. He had some injuries. There was a concussion. There was a hamstring injury. On and off the field, wasn't able to be consistent for you. Still also was a rookie. You have got Kyle Phillips, who him and Tannehill looked to have really good chemistry in the first game, but he got hurt and then he muffed a couple punts. And then you have Racey McMath, who I think he might have had one big catch in one of the games towards the end of the season, but I don't feel confident in any of those guys being a number 1 wide receiver for this Tennessee Titans team. And you can say, well, they've got Chig, and they're going to try to re-sign Austin Hooper, and you've got Derrick Henry, and they're going to try to re-sign Dontrell Hilliard. But the way I look at this, and I look at these receivers in free agency, is that I think this Tennessee Titans team needs to go out and make a trade for a wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy, you look at some of the Broncos guys, it's come out of their camp that they're looking to shop some of those guys. I've mentioned Mike Evans a couple times on our show with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Adam Thielen is a guy we've talked about. I know that he's a free agent. Only if he's cheap. But the way I look at this right now is you don't feel confident in the wide receiver group whatsoever because you've got two guys who are in their second year. One of them, in Kyle Phillips, was barely able to stay on the field with you because of his stature, of his size. And yes, Treylon Burks was a first-round draft pick, but injuries on and off, last offseason, his transition from the combine and the draft into training camp was difficult for him. So I look at this team and I think you need to get at least some sort of veteran presence in there and some sort of guy who is able to be a number one wide receiver for you all, because we saw what happened last year when you didn't have a number one wide receiver and you still had a veteran in Robert Woods who wasn't able to do anything for you.
Yeah, I think Treylon's going to have a really good year. I just have faith. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be fine. Because as you just mentioned, he's trained for actual football now. He hasn't trained for the Underwear Olympics and the Combine. So I think he's going to come into camp in much better shape. He's going to be more honed in. I know that Mike Vrabel was very complimentary of him when he was hurt. He was spending a lot of time just studying and trying to become a better pro. So I think you're going to see that. There's going to be a big leap from year one to year two. We got to stop this whole comparing him to A.J. Brown. Is he going to be A.J. Brown? That's unfair to him. I mean, I know it comes with it, but it's so unfair to him. But I feel like he can be wide receiver one, but you do have to get him some help. I agree with you that if you can hit the trade market and get somebody at a decent price, I mean, Judy you mentioned it sounds like any of the Broncos receivers are available.
Yeah.
And so you could potentially get one of those guys. D-Hop, even though I wouldn't overpay for D-Hop, he's available. So I do think there's some moves that can certainly be made between now and the draft via the trade market. And you may have some other guys get released before then too to help address that position, because you need to find that bona fide wide receiver too.
Yeah, and Chase, I look at this team too, and a lot of our questions heading into this offseason was, are they going to keep Derrick Henry? Are they going to keep Ryan Tannehill? And if they are, which it's trending towards they are, unless some blockbuster trade happens, but if you are keeping those two guys on your team, you are signaling to the fan base that you believe you still can win it all. And I look at Treylon Burks, and I understand your points of, he has the talent to potentially be a great wide receiver. But can he make the leap in one off season from only being able to be available in about half the games to playing every single game for you next year at a wide receiver number one?
Right.
That is the question I have. And I would feel a lot more confident in this offense if they had a true number one wide receiver, because even if Treylon Burks is your number one, everybody on the other side is going to know he's your number one, and he's going to know that you don't have any guys who can be a deep threat for you all. Kyle Phillips is still just a question mark.
Oh yeah, no, and there's time will tell, and I don't think he's going to be wide receiver too. I think he can be a good slot receiver for you. Hopefully, that's obviously the goal there. But coming up next, we'll talk some hockey. Greg Wyshynski will join us from ESPN. We'll get his thoughts on things going on in the National Hockey League and with the Preds right now. We do that next. Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When you want all the...
Going in and the score. Blast the score. He risks one, they score.
And don't forget the...
Oh, what a stop. Sliding across to make the save. The backhander, nice stop.
When all you want is... Smashville. We have you covered. Hear every Predators game right here. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Gary Ashton here. People walk up to me all the time and say, don't sell without the intel. This message couldn't be more true. Right now, it's a fantastic time to buy or sell your home in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. No one has more intel than the Gary Ashton team. So what is this intel we keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without stagings or showings? Intel on where to find your next home so that you can sell your current home while the market is hot? And intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity. For more intel, visit GaryAshton.com, where we can give you the insight and the most up-to-date real estate intel in Nashville. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate team of the Nashville Predators. Get the confidence to sell your home and find the dream address without the stress. Visit us today at GaryAshton.com. That's GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like the adventurous new RAV4. The best-selling SUV in America is the right size vehicle for you. Now through April 4th, you can get low 3.99 APR financing on a new 23 RAV4. With approved credit through TFS, excludes hybrids, and every new Toyota comes with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. Get complete details at buyatoyota.com. Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places.
For one day only, Saturday, March 25th, get 5+ acres and a new cabin package on sale for only $69.9 during the Nashville Acreage Grand Opening Land Sale. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get the best of both worlds. Flat, usable, prime Nashville acreage with the biggest and most spectacular ridgeline views in the entire Nashville area. Priced below market prices. Come explore this recreational paradise and make your dreams of owning exceptional Nashville acreage a reality for less. With 5+ acres and a new cabin package for just $69.9. Best of all, these properties include first-class infrastructure like county water, electric, and county road frontage. All huge advantages in today's market. Appointment times are filling up fast. Call now to book your private tour. 615-437-6348. That's 615-437-6348. Cabin kit package for materials only. Delivered to site by third party. Taxes and delivery not included. Price is subject to change without notice or obligation. Call for complete details. An equal housing opportunity.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame and on Instagram at 1025thegame Nashville.
Hey!
Oh yeah, and like us on Facebook too.
Well, you've got the whole world listening. What do you got to say?
You're listening to Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club. Love your hair. Live your life. On 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Michelle Knezovic, David James with you. We're live at Jasper's on West End Avenue today. NCAA tournament tipping off here in just a little bit. We'll talk to Greg Wyshynski of ESPN, talk some hockey with him in just a second. Predators will be back in action tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. Pre-game with Max Hers at 6. The puck drop just after 7 here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. And a reminder for those of you that are going to watch on TV, one you should always listen to us too. But it is not on Bally tonight. It is on ESPN+. This was, before the season even started, a national game on ESPN+. So you can watch it on that. And speaking of ESPN, let's say hello to Greg Wyshynski of ESPN, who joins us now. Greg, what's up? Good morning.
Yeah, if any of you, want to just come over to my place tonight and watch it, I have ESPN Plus. It's one of the perks of the job. So just find me in Brooklyn and we can hang. And I got good beer. It's cool.
There you go. See, and I've hung with Greg. He's a good guy. So I think it would be a good time to watch some hockey with him. So this Predators team, Greg, we talked to you last week, and they're just scrapping along, 4 points out of a playoff spot after trading off a bunch of their assets. Now, the schedule's going to get harder, and that is the one thing that I try to temper my expectations. But I really like how this young group is playing right now, led by Luke Evangelista, who has really made an impact in his young career.
He certainly has. And it's funny to see how some of these teams that cashed in their chips at the trade deadline have sort of hung around. You have the Washington Capitals winning in a shootout last night against the Sabres, who are a team that they're right in the mix with for that last wild card spot in the East. The Predators obviously have, like you said, scratched and clawed and kept somewhat close to that wild card race in the West, although it's a little bit more set than it is in the East. So I would love to do a deep dive on the psychology of these teams. I feel like sometimes when their management raises the white flag, maybe it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off them to just play hockey down the stretch versus worrying about the trade deadline, the future, all that stuff. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon in the NHL this season.
Yeah, I think it is too. And, I look at it, if the Predators were to get into the playoffs, no matter what they do, it's gravy at that point. It's like, okay, we accomplished what we needed to accomplish by getting all these draft picks. They're going to have 13 when the draft is here in June. So if they make it in, it's just kind of like a bonus.
Sure, and definitely a bonus for ownership because they'll have at least 2 extra dates of playoff revenue, which is always a good thing. I mean, don't forget about the bottom line of all of this is the bottom line. I mean, there's a reason why teams orchestrate their schedules around the trade deadline in the sense that a lot of the action happens closer to the deadline than it say happens in January, and the reason is because they don't want to signal to their fan base that they're done. They want people to come to games. They want people to spend money on stuff. So there's a marketing aspect to all of this, and when you see teams that are quote unquote happy to be there in the playoffs, yeah, I mean it's going to benefit the young players on the roster. It's going to create a little bit of excitement if they can get a win or two off a higher seed. But ultimately, it's trying to get 2 to 3 extra home dates of playoff revenue, and that's going to help their bottom line going forward.
Greg Wyshynski is with us from ESPN talking some NHL. The Predators needed a shootout, but they beat the Los Angeles Kings at the end of their road trip 2-1. But the Kings, to me, are a very, very good opponent in the West. I watch them right now sitting second in the Pacific Division, just behind Vegas by 3 points. After the trade deadline, what's your view on the Kings and how far they can go?
Yeah, they're an interesting team. I mean, there were times this season when their underlying numbers and their metrics showed them to be maybe not as good as their record indicated, but their analytics have caught up to their record in a pretty impressive way as the season has gone on. Last summer, I thought they made one of the more smarter decisions, which was to trade for Kevin Fiala from the Minnesota Wild. I think that trade's really worked out for him. He's been a force for them offensively, really helped balance out that lineup. And, if their goaltending holds and the Jonas Korpisalo acquisition from the Blue Jackets at the deadline, I thought was a pretty smart one because I did not exactly have the highest amount of faith that Jonathan Quick was going to be able to do what he did in the playoffs last year. I think they could really make some noise in the West, and they're a great story too. I mean, don't forget this is a team that's got a collection of really good young players that are on the way up, and they're trying to hit that sweet spot where they've got a great young supporting cast trying to get Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty another Stanley Cup in the twilight years of their careers. So it's a real kind of an interesting legacy team in some ways that is really built to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. They're an impressive group.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then, as I look in this division, the Central Division, now what's funny is I mentioned the Predators 4 points out of a playoff spot. By my math, it's now 7, I guess, but they're still within striking distance of even getting that third spot in the Central. But Colorado sits there right now. They've won 3 in a row. I know this hasn't been the juggernaut that they were last year. That title goes to Boston in the East right now. But I still, you put Colorado in a 7-game series in the playoffs, you got to show me you can beat them until I'm ready to write them off.
Yeah, they could beat anybody, but they're not as good as they were last year. I mean, That's clear. They had some attrition in their lineup. They still haven't found that replacement for Nazem Kadri at second-line center. They're missing a few veterans. They're still banged up. I mean, we're still waiting to see if Landeskog's going to make his way back, and now Lekkonen's out of the lineup too. So, you have all those things swirling around the team, plus different goaltending, and I don't think that they're the Avalanche that we saw last season. But like you said, I mean, throw Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar in a 7-game series, you're going to do pretty good for yourself. But obviously, the story in the Central right now is those Minnesota Wild. They set a new franchise record last night for most consecutive games. The point, they're winning games despite Kirill Kaprizov being out of the lineup. Fleury's been really hot. I think he's got 6 wins in a row. They've really rounded into form at the right time in that division. And if I'm, Colorado or Dallas or Winnipeg, I'm kind of looking over my shoulder at what the Wild are doing right now.
In the East, as we mentioned, Boston's already secured a playoff spot, which is just crazy. Even though they lost to Chicago the other night, the team is coming in here to play the Predators tonight. I couldn't believe that they lost to Chicago. But so they got that locked up at the top of their division in the conference. The wild card race in the East is fascinating to me. Detroit was just in here, and they're still technically in it. I mean, it's kind of getting away from them now, but I mean, you got Washington, Florida, Buffalo, Ottawa, and then the Islanders and Pittsburgh hold those 2 spots right now. It's been fun to watch in the East.
It has. That Chicago game was my favorite moment of the season, by the way, with all the Blackhawks fans, all like 12,000 at that game, chanting "overrated" at the Bruins as they're losing that game to Chicago. It's like if the crowd at a game where a 15 seed wins in March Madness starts chanting "You can't beat us" at like Duke or something. It's pretty fantastic. The East is awesome. It's ever changing. At least in the wild card position, obviously the 2-3 seeds are somewhat cemented. Although with the injuries to Carolina, there's a path for the Devils to win that division, and that could really make for some interesting matchups in the East. I still think it's going to be Pittsburgh and Florida. I mean, the Islanders have been picking up points when they need to. There's a bunch of games in hand, though, for the Panthers right now to move up the standings and potentially move ahead of the Islanders. And they've been playing good hockey. I think sneakily, I don't want to say this too loud because the people in Edmonton will hear it and start yelling at me again, that if you say someone else has an MVP case, you're trying to, take something off of Connor McDavid. I'm not trying to do that. But I am trying to say that Matthew Tkachuk has been incredible, and that if you're looking at the kind of player that drags his team by the scruff of its neck into the playoffs, I mean, Tkachuk's doing that right now. I'm not saying that doesn't mean I'm going to vote against Connor McDavid, telling that to the province that's been on my behind for 2 months. But I am saying that Matthew Tkachuk has done a hell of a job, and if the Panthers make the playoffs, he clearly will be the reason why.
Real quick, are you going to be at the Garden Sunday night when the Predators are in town?
I don't know. Maybe not. I was just at the Garden the other night for that game against the Capitals, where we did the Big City Greens cartoon on ESPN on Disney
Channel. That was awesome,
dude. It was so much fun. I wrote a story about it. If you saw it and you're curious about it, I have a story on ESPN.com that kind of details how the whole thing came together. And I listen. I'll put over my company probably regardless, but I'm really happy to be able to do it on something that worked. And that thing worked, man. It was like the great potential of puck and player tracking in the NHL applied in a really interesting and inventive way. And nothing warmed my heart better as a hockey fan than to see people tweeting pictures of like their toddlers watching this Big City Greens game. And reacting to the hockey on the screen. Like, that's the kind of thing the NHL needs to do more of to bring new fans to the table. And that was such a great idea and a great execution this week. I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I hope there's more of that to come. Greg, appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, joining us, talking some hockey with him. Yeah, if you missed that, it was really, really cool. To see that on Disney. Max Hers was all about it, for sure. Coming up next, we will get back into some hoops and get you set for the tournament as things go on, and also the Titans quarterbacks in the AFC. Where does Ryan Tannehill rank now that Rodgers is going to be joining the AFC? We'll discuss that coming up next on Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He's got big takes.
It's not that freaking hard. Hand the ball to Henry.
Small takes.
You have to defend your decision.
But all takes.
They win. They just invested a lot into this game. It was the worst press conference.
He is Jared Stillman.
I guess I'm just not a very good coach, Jared.
Weekdays from 2 to 6. Stillman and Company. Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Preds fans, you coming out for tonight's big game? The pre-party action is at Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville, steps away from Bridgestone Arena. Enjoy great specials like $3 off any appetizer in the bar area and $20 bucket specials on Bud Light, Mick Ultra, and Landshark beer. A sports TV viewing mecca, the Landshark Bar and Grill is a Lower Broadway must-see. That's the Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on the corner of 4th Avenue and Broadway. Stop in before the Preds game tonight.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
In winning teams, every player brings their unique strength and has an impact on the results. The Dallas Mavericks drafted Jason Kidd with the second pick in the 1995 draft. But after 2.5 seasons, they traded him to Phoenix, and he then played for the Nets. It was not until he was 34 when he became a Maverick once again. He was exactly what they needed and became an integral part of a team that went on to win the 2011 NBA Finals over the Miami Heat.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
When there's a chance for a championship trophy, you need to have the right people in the right positions. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 875 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
At 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, we recognize our veterans, active military, and first responders with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Now, your Game Center update.
Tom Pelissero reported that the Cincinnati Bengals are signing four-time Pro Bowl tackle Orlando Brown Jr., a 4-year, $64 million deal with about $31 million in signing bonus, the largest ever for an offensive lineman. The Dallas Cowboys have released Ezekiel Elliott, and Aaron Rodgers joined the Pat McAfee Show on Wednesday to let the world know where he wants to play next year.
At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
And I haven't been holding anything up at this point. It's been compensation that the Packers are trying to get for me and kind of digging their heels in. So I would just, I think it is interesting at this point to step back and look at the whole picture.
Today, the tournament officially begins. The Tennessee Volunteers will tip off at 8:40 tonight against Louisiana. And Vanderbilt advanced to the second round of the NIT and will take on the Michigan Wolverines Saturday morning at 11 a.m. This report is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezvik for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 102.5 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
A gunny performance.
Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
The Game.
The Cromwell Media Station.
All the big topics.
That's what people want to know about.
Mixed with some entertainment.
So funny. It's not funny.
Give it a minute. This is Chase and Michelle with Chase McCabe and Michelle Knezovic.
We got a great show for you, even if we don't, who cares?
Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club, love your hair, live your life. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Michelle Knezovic, here with you live at Jasper's on West End Avenue, 1918 West End Avenue. You can come hang out. They got TVs everywhere. They got. They'll be open in about an hour, getting set up. You can come in here, grab a bite, have a beverage, watch some games, say hi to us. Michelle's going to be signing autographs. It'll be great. Me, $10 a piece. That's the normal. No, just kidding. But come by and say hi for sure, and get their shot and a beer special as well. It's $10, so very, very cool.
Can't get that anywhere else in Nashville.
No,
I can say that pretty confidently.
You can definitely do that here. So, but talking about the Titans and the quarterbacks in particular, are we all in agreement that Ryan Tannehill is going to be the quarterback for the Titans this year? Can we go ahead and just say that?
Yeah, let's say that because
okay.
I think either something would have happened already or unless something crazy happens and they trade up, but I'm pretty confident Ryan Tannehill is going to be quarterback here in 2023, Chase.
Yeah. So now that Aaron Rodgers is, I guess it's not official, but is joining the AFC. I mean, he intends to play for the Jets. That's where he wants to be. Where do you put Ryan Tannehill in the quarterback ranking in the AFC? I would say probably on down there.
So if you kind of look at my laptop, I saw you peek over really quick, but I actually tweeted.
I didn't see it though.
I tweeted yesterday with Aaron Rodgers saying he wants to play for the Jets, assuming this deal gets done, taking a look at the quarterbacks in the AFC. And I'm going to go down my list and where I ranked the quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes 1, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa, Russell Wilson. I have Ryan Tannehill. The quarterbacks I have underneath Ryan Tannehill are Deshaun Watson, but we've seen what his ceiling is like. I'm just based off performance last year. Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, and then we have question marks with the Texans and the Colts.
With the rookies.
Depending on if they draft, it could be C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Those are still question marks.
All right.
So bottom half of the AFC. Now, if you look at the NFC, the top quarterbacks I have are Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. I would put Ryan Tannehill right there as far as the top quarterback in the NFC. The reason I bring this up is because when you look at the AFC, and you can easily say, oh, well, I mean, Ryan Tannehill would be a top quarterback if it was the NFC. Okay, well, that doesn't matter because it's not like the Tennessee Titans can just switch over to the NFC. When you're talking about the playoffs, the reason I bring up all these quarterbacks is because you potentially could have to play back-to-back-to-back Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen.
Yes.
And that's not even including some of the young guys coming up. Herbert, Lawrence, Tua, don't know. Miami looks like they're going to be great next year, depending on his health. So the point being is, and people got at me like, well, the Texans and the Colts, they're getting rookies, so you don't know. Okay, you don't know, but they're resetting their quarterback clock.
I mean, I'd put them in a separate category. So, okay, for the most part, I agree with your ranking. Now, I would put Deshaun – I'm putting Deshaun above Tua. I mean, last year's last year. Based on what I know about Deshaun Watson as a football player, I'm going to put him above Tua. I might move Lamar above Trevor, but I'm kind of struggling with that one. But for the most part, I think I agree with you. Russell, you could make an argument last year, Tannehill was better than Russell.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall body of work, I would
Wilson's.
say Russ is, and you can make an argument Russ overall body of work could be higher up on that list. But I would say right now he's there. But the only one that I'd probably push back on is I would say Deshaun is – I'd move Deshaun up maybe around where Herbert and Lawrence are and Lamar.
And the reason I have Deshaun lower is because we haven't seen him – we've seen what he's been able to do when he's been great with the Houston Texans, but that's been almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him be able to perform to that level. So I would say, yes, his ceiling is for sure higher than Ryan Tannehill's, but we haven't seen that type of quarterback play in almost 3 years. I mean, he did not have a good year last year with the Browns. Next year could be different, and he could easily jump that group. But if you take a look at, his ceiling, 100%, Chase, I agree with you. It's higher than Ryan Tannehill's. So, right? Okay, so then you shift Ryan down another one, and you've got Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, and Kenny Pickett's still a young guy, so we don't really know what we're going to get from him.
So think about this, too, when you go through this list. All right, Mahomes. He's got Kelsey, the weapons he's got now. Receiver, I think that's a position they need to address.
Of course.
Big time, because they've lost Juju now.
Right tackle.
And, they need to address tackle. Burrow, if I'm ranking the teams right now, the offenses right now, I'm putting Bengals number one.
Yeah.
I might even put Jets 2 if the Rodgers deal does in fact happen. The Chiefs need to get Pat some help when it comes to weapons, but they seem to always figure it out. So
he did. We said that all last year.
I think that Ryan and Junie could go play receiver for the Chiefs, and they'd probably be fine. So
yeah, listen, you got Andy Reid, you got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm still putting them one because that was the argument I had.
Sure,
I said, you know what? They got rid of Tyreek Hill. I gotta see it from Patrick Mahomes. Nope, you proved me. All you need is him, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce out there.
I think the thing that has held the Chargers back is coaching.
I agree.
They have the weapons. The Bills are I think the Bills, they have weapons. They're good. I think they can shore up a few things, but the Jags are only get better, and they're going to have Ridley back. Ridley this year. I mean, he's going to join them for first time, so I'm looking forward to seeing him with them. Ravens need to continue to get Lamar help if Lamar is in fact going to be their quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what we've talked about is the Ravens need to get Lamar a true number one wide receiver because everybody around the league can say, well, he can't throw. He's a running quarterback. He's a running back, whatever you want to say. But if I truly believe if the Ravens want to get back in contender and help Lamar rise up and be the quarterback that they believe he can be, is they need to get him more help. They need to get him a true number one wide receiver.
The quarterback on that list that I am going to be curious to watch this year is Mac Jones because of Billy O.
I agree.
I want to see Bill O'Brien with Mac Jones because I believe that's the whole reason that Belichick brought him in. Said, I need you to come tell me if you can fix my quarterback or if I need to go get a new quarterback.
Well, and it came out yesterday that the Patriots were really interested in trying to go get Jerry Jeudy from the Broncos, so they're trying to get Mac help. And
familiarity.
That could be a huge turning factor. You get an OC and you get some wide receivers to help Mac Jones out. He could rise up. He's still young. He's still early in his quarterback career, and it helps that he's in the Patriot system, which good coaching and now a good OC to back it up.
Coming up next, the quarterbacks that the Titans are going to face this year.
Ooh.
Let's talk about that a little bit. We'll do that coming up next. It's Chase and Michelle live at Jaspers on West End today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
And Nashville sports.
They can be a fully formed model of what they're going to be offensively moving forward.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
You don't know what's going to happen with the roster or the team.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
This is a good lesson about sports and what we think and what actually happens.
Chad Withrow on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, make 2023 the year that you beat Vegas. Superbook Sports gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. There's no fancy computer algorithms. There's no guys across the pond setting the lines for American sports. It's just the best team of odds makers in the business right there behind the counter at the Superbook in Las Vegas, where I will be a week from today hanging out with everybody there. It's going to be fun. Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets that you will find anywhere. Download the Superbook Sports app like I did or visit superbook.com to start your battle against Vegas right now. They have all of the tournament games, including West Virginia, a 3-point favorite against Maryland. You can check that out. Furman that Michelle likes, 5.5 against Virginia. It's all right there on the Superbook Sports app. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. And this March, take your first shot at college hoops with FanDuel Sportsbook and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 on the bracket and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting everything from the money line to point spreads to that 5-12 seed matchup that you've been eyeing as well. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. There's no better place to bet the tournament than on FanDuel Sportsbook. I really like the way Memphis has played lately. Keep an eye on them heading into the tournament. And obviously there's Alabama, who's been dominant all season long in the SEC. You take it any way you want to take it. Sign up today by going to FanDuel.com/Rob and make every moment more with FanDuel all tournament long. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale.
Which factory? From where?
Family Leisure has truckloads of new model merchandise from all their factories arriving daily.
Really? Like what?
Well, spas for one. All the new model spas are here and on sale from Artesian, Catalina, and American Select Spas, as low as $29.99.
Okay.
Family Leisure is getting all their new patio furniture styles. Hanneman, Tropitone, and Woodard are on sale. And there are still a lot of floor models left to sell at ridiculous prices. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Now, that's interesting.
Family Leisure has factory direct pricing on pools. 24-foot pools starting as low as $29.99 installed. And solid wood slate pool tables are only $19.99 as well.
That means the grills, smokers, and grill islands are on sale too.
Of course. Family Leisure even has the huge Diamond Point Play system for only $24.99 installed.
Even the massage chairs, theater seating are on sale.
That's right. That's Family Leisure's factory direct sale going on now.
Both locations, Antioch and Franklin.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game and a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for the Twin Peaks E-Club and stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks. As a friend of the Peaks Club, you'll score free stuff and be updated on upcoming events and promotions. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com and sign up today.
For one day only, Saturday, March 25th, get 5+ acres and a new cabin package on sale for only $69.9 during the Nashville Acreage Grand Opening Land Sale. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get the best of both worlds. Flat, usable, prime Nashville acreage with the biggest and most spectacular ridgeline views in the entire Nashville area. Priced below market prices. Come explore this recreational paradise and make your dreams of owning exceptional Nashville acreage a reality for less. With 5+ acres and a new cabin package for just $69.9. Best of all, these properties include first-class infrastructure like county water, electric, and county road frontage. All huge advantages in today's market. Appointment times are filling up fast. Call now to book your private tour. 615-437-6348. That's 615-437-6348. Cabin kit package for materials only. Delivered to site by third party. Taxes and delivery not included. Price is subject to change without notice or obligation. Call for complete details. An equal housing opportunity.
102.5 and 106.3, The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robbie and Rex Road 6 to 9.
You are talking about a team that's building a roster.
Chase and Michelle 9 to 11.
He's still under contract.
It's not always X's and O's.
Caroline, Willie, and D Mace 11 to 2.
Trades, free agents.
Let's get it going. I think this is a good hire.
And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
I can give you one of the best coaches in the league.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Nashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3, The Game. Taking you through your mid-morning.
Love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This is Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club. Love your hair. Live your life.
Where'd you find those crazy characters?
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, join 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament benefiting Souls for Souls on June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs to support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes. Sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf. We did this last year. It was a lot of fun. Going to bring it back on June 7th. So go check it out, thegamenashville.com/golf. Chase McKay, Michelle Knezovic with you live from Jasper's 1918 West End Avenue. They're going to be open here in about 40 minutes, so you can come in, get you a spot, watch the games, have you a beer, have you a shot and a beer special for just $10. You can do that. And also that's with shot of Nelson's Greenbrier Tennessee whiskey plus a bottle of domestic beer, just $10. And you can eat all that stuff. Say hi to us. We'll be here all day long. Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace will be here in just a little bit as well. But talking about the Titans and you ranked the quarterbacks in the AFC. And one more time, give us your ranking of how you had it. You closed it.
Oh, I closed it, Chase. Put me on the spot there.
That's okay. Sorry. I thought you had it open. So you can get it in a second. But I know you had Ryan Tannehill down the list.
Basically, the only quarterbacks below Ryan Tannehill were I had Deshaun Watson below him based off his performance this year. He would have an opportunity to jump above him. I had Mac Jones below him, Kenny Pickett below him, and then the Colts and the Texans question marks with depending on whether they draft a rookie or not. But those were the quarterbacks that I had below Ryan Tannehill.
Okay. The opponents for the Titans this year, we don't know the schedule yet, but based on the quarterback, so Baltimore, question mark.
Lamar.
We think.
Yeah.
We think. And these are all at home. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Texans, we don't know yet. Justin Herbert. So they got to play two of your – Herbert, did you have in the top 5?
Yep.
So two of the top 5 right there.
Well, Lamar was right below them.
Lamar was right below them. Seattle, Geno.
Mm-hmm.
Colts, we don't know yet. Panthers, we don't know yet. Jags, Trevor Lawrence. And then the Falcons, we assume Desmond Ridder right now.
Yeah.
Those are the home opponents. Away opponents, we know Texans, Colts, Jags. Bucks, I guess, is going to be the big show.
Baker Mayfield.
Dolphins will be Tua. Saints, Derek Carr. Steelers, Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. I mean, that's not that. Again, with things that have not settled out yet, when it comes to quarterbacks, especially within the division with Indy and Houston, as Indy officially released Matt Ryan yesterday, not going to be easy for the Titans, and that's why you're hoping that Tannehill. Because here's the other thing too that I think we forget on, and there's a text I want you to read in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But Tannehill was having a decent year.
He was.
He was taking care of the football. I don't think he was doing things to lose the games for the Titans. I think he really kept that in his head of what had happened against Cincinnati, and then he gets hurt. And so I think that's something to keep in mind. But there was a texter that I thought had an interesting point.
Yeah, Will texts in and says, I feel as fans we do this all the time, but we kind of hate on Tannehill, some more than others, but we seem to overrate our opponent's success. Not saying we are any less fans, not saying Trevor Lawrence isn't good, just saying we might be getting the cart ahead of the horse. So listen, Will, saying that, okay, we hate on Tannehill a lot, but I guess what I can take from that is sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Absolutely.
Which is fair. And, when I went through the quarterbacks in the AFC, very, very elite quarterbacks in the AFC compared to the NFC. But, Chase, when you go through the opponents for the Tennessee Titans this year, the only quarterbacks I'm putting above him are Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, and Tua. But Tua's a big question mark still.
Yeah, I don't know if I can subscribe to that yet. I before he got hurt, yeah, I guess you could. The way he was playing, Tua's everybody's view of Tua right now, I think, is based on a flash and potential.
No, and I agree, but I think I look at this because it's hard not to put what the team looks like in perspective. So when I look at Tua and I look at the wide receivers he has around him, I look at the other additions that they've added to this team, their defense. If Tua stays healthy, Tua will be above Ryan Tannehill. I think I can say that. I think I can say that confidently. Whereas, I look at the Tennessee Titans right now. Maybe Ryan Tannehill has been more consistent with Tua because Tua's had a lot of injuries. But right now I look at this Tennessee Titans team, and if Treylon Burks is Ryan Tannehill's number one wide receiver, I don't feel very confident in it right now. I really don't. And not anything against Treylon Burks, because I do think that he has the talent. I think we saw a lot of flashes from it, but he doesn't have any help in the wide receiver core. And I know we're still waiting on the draft and to make moves and different things like that. If it was A.J. Brown in this wide receiver core, I would put Tannehill above, and I'd feel a lot more confident about that.
So I'm kind of sitting here. Junie Riddle is here, one half of Michelle and Junie, and he's listening. I can tell he's listening intently to this conversation right now. And I think he has a difference, maybe a difference of opinion. You had Kenny Pickett last.
I didn't. Did I have him last?
Well, outside of the rookies.
Yeah.
And Junie is not buying that at all.
I mean,
I don't know.
We haven't seen enough of him yet. I mean, that's the main reason I have him down there. He's incomplete, so I'm not going to put him above a guy who's made the playoffs a bunch with his team. I put him down there because he could easily jump. I mentioned that he could easily jump Ryan Tannehill, but the reason I put him there is because we only saw him start halfway through the season, so there's just not enough. There's just not enough to know about him. He could easily take a jump next year. I'm not saying there's not a possibility.
I think it's incomplete. I think that's the best way to really put it with him right now. There's talent, but it's just what are they going to do with it? It's Chase and Michelle. We're live today again at Jasper's on Weston Avenue, 1918 Weston Avenue. They're going to open at 11 o'clock, getting everything set up right now. The tournament will tip off around 11:15. Looking forward to that. But coming up next, we'll talk some hoops. Kyle Tucker from The Athletic, of course, covers Kentucky. Has actually covered the Titans a little bit as well. We'll discuss everything with him, with the tournament. Coming up next, Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at noon.
That fits the mentality of what they're going to do.
Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton joins Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace to talk all things Titans and NFL.
Much more creative in how you go about calling certain plays.
He's got opinions and insights on the two-tone blue.
That doesn't mean that you can't have great or don't need great quarterback play.
Catch Hutton every Wednesday at noon on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Actor portrayal.
Hi, I'm Diane, and my husband Jack has low testosterone.
Hi, I'm Jack. I knew something was wrong when I went from feeling energetic and youthful to tired all the time and not sleeping well, putting on belly fat, and my sex drive just dropped.
The fun, active Heartland lifestyle we always enjoyed was disappearing. Then our sex life declined, and eventually we just stopped.
I had to do something, so Diane and I went to the sexual health specialist at Tennessee Men's Clinic. We learned that nearly half of men over 50 suffer from ED and low testosterone.
It was refreshing to hear that one size doesn't fit all. They have a variety of therapies depending on age, medical condition, and lifestyle. He's back to the man I fell in love with.
My energy's back. Our intimacy is better than it's been in years. I can't thank Tennessee Men's Clinic enough.
Your first visit to the Tennessee Men's Clinic is only $99. They have multiple treatment options for low T and ED. Book your appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or book online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra, results vary.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
Get in on the conversation at 615-737-1025. The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, You can close in 7 to 10 days. And a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I got some good news. Taking you through your mid-morning, this is Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club, love your hair, live your life. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Michelle Knezovic. Really, are we playing this right
David,
now?
yes. Yes,
of course.
all the way. We love
it's
this
March.
song. Yes. I was about to text and just say amazing pick right there.
That's so overrated. Chase McKay, Michelle Knezovic, Jaspers on West End. The tournament will be tipping off here in just a little bit. But we'll talk some hoops and some Kentucky with Kyle Tucker of The Athletic, who joins us now. Kyle, what's up? How are you?
Morning, Kyle.
How are you guys?
Oh, we're fantastic. We're ready to get this thing going. Brackets are filled out. I have been looking at brackets until I can't see anymore, as I know a lot of people have been doing that. But going into this, saw Kentucky a little bit last week at the SEC tournament. They fall to Vanderbilt. What do you think their mindset is and how they're feeling going into this tournament, and how far do you actually think they can go?
Well, like Calipari said it, he succinctly summed up his team right after that Vanderbilt loss in Nashville and said, we've shown who we are. We can beat anybody. And I hate to tell you, we can also lose to anybody. I think that's what they've demonstrated. I mean, they started the year a top 5 team. They went 10-6. They got their heads caved in Tuscaloosa, and then came home and lost to a terrible South Carolina team, and then won 6 out of 7 and kind of saved their season. Then they got blown out at home by Arkansas and went and lost to a bad Georgia team, and everybody kind of wrote them off again. They're back on the bubble, and then they reel off, I think, 4 straight or 5 out of 6. They lose on senior night to Vanderbilt, which was a pretty big shocker, and then go with no point guard, with their top 2 point guards out, and basically having their 6'9" power forward bring the ball up the floor and win at Arkansas to finish the regular season. Everybody kind of hops back on the train, and then they go to the SEC tournament and lose in the first game. So, me sitting here trying to tell you what I think they're going to do would be insane, because every time I think I have them figured out, they do the opposite. One thing I would say about Kentucky, as much hand-wringing as it caused for them to lose in the SEC quarterfinals, it was the best thing that could have happened to them in terms of having an optimal chance to advance this week, because it's a team that has been beat up all year. They've only had 2 guys play in every game in their primary rotation. Only 2 players have played every game this season. Sheboy and Cason Wallace. Sheboy started the season banged up with a knee surgery. Took him a little time. Cason Wallace has dealt with multiple injuries and kind of tried to play through them. Only missed a couple games, but been kind of banged up and was at the SEC tournament. And then, Severe Wheeler has missed the last 7 and I think last 9 games and 11 total. Their backup point guard, their starting shooting guard, C.J. Frederick, has had a dislocated finger on his shooting hand and then came back and landed on a TV camera and broke his ribs, and has been playing through that and not really been himself. So it's kind of been a walking wounded Kentucky. I think that is one reason it's really difficult to put your finger on exactly who they are, at their best, because I think at their best they're really good. At their healthiest and at their best, they're really, really good and could probably play with any team out there, maybe other than Alabama. I'm not sure anybody on Alabama's best days got a shot right now. So they got a lot of distractions, but that team is ridiculous. But otherwise, Kentucky has shown it can pretty much hang with anybody. I mean, they were right in it to the end against Kansas earlier this year and weren't necessarily healthy in that game either. So, this is a team that you sort of believe in at your own peril at this point, but also I've written the opposite of that is true too. You count them out and then they come out and make it to the second weekend.
Talking to Kyle Tucker from The Athletic. Now, that side of the bracket is very intriguing to me. Obviously, Tennessee and Kentucky are in the same region. They wouldn't see each other until the Elite Eight. But you got Duke that Tennessee would have to get through. Kentucky would have to get through Montana State, obviously, first, and then K-State, Michigan State, Marquette. I really like the layout, but it's a tough road just to get through that bracket.
Yeah, actually, Kentucky's got Providence in the first game,
Providence, yeah.
That's a super interesting game. Again, that's where it's tough with Kentucky. They could lose that game easily, and they're playing. It's a storyline game. They're playing against Bryce Hopkins, who couldn't get off the bench for Kentucky last year, and he goes to Providence, and he's goes to the end of the year as a leading candidate to win Big East Player of the Year, and so. That would be sort of the nightmare scenario. You lose in the first round of St. Peter's last year as a 2 seed. You come back this year and get a pretty favorable draw. I think it actually sets up pretty well in terms of matchups for Kentucky. But the nightmare would be that you lose this first one to Providence and you get bounced by a guy you couldn't find playing time for. And so, yeah, that's an interesting one. And then the Kansas State game would be a grinder. But I mean, if you told some Kentucky fans, if you told John Calipari before the season with the team he thought he had, that you're going to have to beat Providence that's 7-8 in its last 15 games in the first round, Kansas State in the second round, and Marquette to get to the Elite Eight, he'd have probably taken that in a heartbeat. It's definitely not a murderer's row there. And then the top half of that bracket I think is very fascinating because there's a Tennessee team that Kentucky has swept in the regular season, but at its best can play with anybody kind of similarly. A Purdue team that everybody's saying, well, they're finally going to get to a Final Four, and I'm really I think that team is sort of suspect. I mean, I love Zach Edey, but not a lot of teams get to Final Fours with freshman-driven backcourts, and that's what Purdue is trying to do. And so there's some teams in that. Duke is in the top half of that region, and Duke is a team that I think is played great down the stretch under their new coach. This is kind of a statement postseason for John Shire, taking over for Coach K. And, you can't make a bigger statement than getting to a Final Four in your first year as a head coach. And I really think Duke has a chance to do that.
We got Kyle Tucker on with us from The Athletic, covers college basketball as a whole. Kyle, I'm on the same page with you. I don't feel too confident in this Purdue team. I mean, I think their backcourt was better last year. You mentioned they've got freshmen back there this year. And a lot of times what we see in the tournament is experience winning. So we mentioned Tennessee. They play Louisiana for the late game tonight. How do you view this Tennessee team with the loss of Zakai Ziegler? You got to watch him here in the SEC tournament. Missouri knocked them out just before the semifinals. How do you view them in this tournament? And do you think if they were matched up with Duke, they'd be able to hang with them, especially without having Zakai Ziegler to run their offense?
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. I think they're definitely not the same team without him. I think it's pretty obvious that he's kind of the little engine that drives them. I think for them it comes down to making shots because they have been one of the best defenses in the country all year, and it's the same story all the time. Like can you score enough to win? And I'm not sure, and I'm also not sure their defense is as good, obviously, without Zakai. So betting on Tennessee to make a deep run is something that I would not do, but it also wouldn't shock me if they did. I don't have a lot of confidence in them in their current form, but the tournament is a weird thing, and they've got guys. I mean, Vescovi can go nuts. Josiah is a guy who if he's healthy and feeling good and on a given night, could be great for them. The kind of guy who could be kind of a March hero, I think potentially. And so and then you've got an elite freshman too who I don't think we've seen the best of him yet, but I think this could be a kind of a coming out party for him as well.
And 5 years ago today, Kyle, we saw UMBC pull off the upset over number 1 overall seed Virginia. Are there any games you're looking at early today? The tournament's going to tip off with West Virginia and Maryland in about 45 minutes. Are there any 5-12 matchups or 4-13 matchups you're taking a look at and thinking, oh, we could see an upset this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I those are hard this year because I do think there's some interesting teams, but this is one of those years where there's so much parity. I don't is it even are these even huge upsets?
Exactly.
You know, Rick Pitino at Iona would be really interesting. You know, 13-4 game against UConn. VCU is a pretty popular pick, I think, with a lot of people right now. The one that's here in Greensboro with Kentucky and those teams is Kennesaw State against Xavier. I think a lot of people have sort of identified them as a potential Cinderella, and that would be a really interesting, pretty remarkable story, their program turnaround.
We got Kyle Tucker on with us from The Athletic, covers college basketball as a whole. Kyle, we saw 8 SEC teams get into the tournament. Mississippi State lost in the play-in game to Pittsburgh. But what SEC team or maybe a couple teams do you feel confident in their roster, in their coach, to make any sort of run in this tournament, or at least has the talent to? I mean, I know it's hard to predict things like this, but there's about seven of them in now with Mississippi State getting knocked out. Who do you, if you had to pick one of the teams?
Well, Alabama's the easy one. You know, if they can navigate this massive distraction, I think it's, you know, they really wobbled. I think in the early days of all the stuff coming out with Brandon Miller being at the scene of that shooting. You know, he's been hounded by questions. He was at the SEC tournament. It's turned up a notch. There was a New York Times report last night that a fourth player, a walk-on player, was at the scene. Alabama has disputed that. Brandon Miller came to the podium yesterday with armed security standing just off the stage because apparently, according to Nate Oates, he's gotten some threatening messages. That is a lot for a team to bear. I would say that without a doubt, in my mind, Alabama is the most formidable and most complete team in the field. You know, if there was nothing else going on, I would easily pick them, and I am picking them. I think to win this thing. So, you know, they're the easy choice, but I could see the weight of this and how long they've been dealing with it. Eventually getting to them, it's just a lot. I don't think you can discount sort of the mental aspect of the game. And the other team, you know, Kentucky's one could make a run certainly. The other team that I think could have, but I feel like kind of got jobbed in the seeding and the matchups is Texas A&M. There's no way in my mind that's a 7 seed. I don't think they should have to play Texas in the second round. You know, that's a pretty brutal draw. Or not, I guess not second round, Sweet 16 maybe. But
second round.
I just feel like they kind of got screwed in that way. And I think if they were a higher seed with a different matchup, I would love Texas A&M to go on a little bit of a run. I would say Missouri as a dark horse because, you know, I think what Dennis Gates has done there is remarkable. I think the style that they play can really, you know, they can really kind of run away and wear out some teams the way they play up tempo and can score on you. So I think those are some teams to watch for sure.
Last one for you, Kyle. One thing that I have noticed from John Calipari when it comes to Kentucky playing Vanderbilt is he seems to have a lot of admiration and respect for Jerry Stackhouse. And I noticed that very early on with some of the comments that he made. Why do you think that is, and why do you think he views Stackhouse in such a high regard?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people hate Cal, and I get that. He's sort of bombastic, and he can come off as pretty arrogant at times. But I think one thing he's been really good about since he's been in the SEC is, you know, complimenting, you know, the rest of the league and the other coaches that he admires, and, you know, talking about, you know, trying to be sort of a spokesman for the league, and has talked a lot about how Vanderbilt deserves to get in, and as you said about the job Stackhouse has done. I think it's just pretty simple. I think in Stackhouse's case, he is impressed with. There's really no way from a talent standpoint Vanderbilt should be able to stay on the floor with Kentucky this year, and they've now beaten them basically in 2 road games. I mean, I don't care that the game was played in Nashville and they had a decent Vanderbilt crowd show up for that game last week. That was a home game for Kentucky, you know. So you go win at Rupp, and then you win what I always call Bridgestone for the SEC tournament, Rupp South. twice in 9 days, I mean, you're going to earn John Calipari's respect, and he's earned mine. I think Stackhouse has done an incredible job. I think he's obviously a great coach, and now to me the question is, can he get the level of talent to take the next step at Vanderbilt, or does he have to go somewhere else? And is he the next North Carolina coach down the road?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's going to be a fun tournament to watch for sure, Kyle. Appreciate your time today, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, guys.
Kyle Tucker from The Athletic does a great job with them. Coming up next, we're going to give you our best bets of the day from Superbook. We'll do that to close things out here on Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
This is Colton Sissons, and this is Smashville.
Feeds now Sissons coming off of the left circle, and Colton Sissons puts it in the net.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
What's up, everybody? Michelle Knezovic here for Superbook Sports. We're about to make all of our picks for some of the games off the tournament. Just about 30 minutes away until my favorite time of the year. It's the best day. I'm going to pick the first game we've got kicking us off today for the tournament. We got West Virginia and Maryland. Maryland is the line has already moved. Maryland is a 2.5-point dog. I'm taking Maryland plus the 2.5. Also going to take them on the money line plus 125. Another game I'm looking at, I think we could see a little bit of an upset. Virginia and Furman. Virginia, a 5.5-point favorite. I am taking Furman plus the 5.5. Also going to take them on the money line plus 200. And one of the reasons that I love Superbook is because it gives you the chance every single week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. No fancy computer algorithms. No guys across the pond setting lines for American sports. Just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets anywhere. So download the Superbook Sportsbook app or visit superbook.com to start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Smashville. Experience Predators hockey all season long. 2023-24 season tickets are on office pricing and enjoy season ticket citizen discounts at concessions and retail. Secure your exclusive benefits at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Go Preds!
Being value conscious and getting the most for your money is so important these days, and that's why it's more important than ever to shop at Genesis Diamonds, the undisputed value leader.
Part of the education at Genesis Diamonds is we explain to you how we travel the world and purchase our diamonds, how we buy in bulk, we pay cash for our diamonds so we can save every possible percent to save you money on your diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
There are no middlemen, there are no other wholesalers or dealers, so we cut out all of those extra added markups and pass those savings on to you.
When you combine that unmatched value with a totally no-pressure shopping experience, you know you're in the right place.
Because we do not work on commission, our sole purpose is to make sure you get exactly what you want. There's nothing in it for us personally, whether you spend $1,000 or $100,000.
That's why at Genesis, people often end up spending less than they had budgeted.
Our goal is to purely present you with options so you can choose exactly what you want.
The value you want, the experience you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey Nashville, TJ Anderson here. With real estate listings, you have to read between the lines. Like waterfront property, more like a mosquito farm. Pride of ownership, they're really proud of the DIY job they did. Seller says sell. Really? I thought they just put it on the market for fun. My team at TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty is ready to help both home buyers and sellers decode the market. Oh, and if it says don't let this one pass you by, it's probably on wheels. Google TJ Anderson Homes, read our reviews, and see why we are referred for a reason. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, 615-432-2919.
Hoop fans looking for some fun action this Thursday and Friday's tournament games? Head over to Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. Superbook Sports will be there with awesome merch to give out and fun betting options. Brewhouse South and Superbook for round one hoops action.
For one day only, Saturday, March 25th, get 5+ acres and a new cabin package on sale for only $69.9 during the Nashville Acreage Grand Opening Land Sale. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get the best of both worlds. Flat, usable, prime Nashville acreage with the biggest and most spectacular ridgeline views in the entire Nashville area. Priced below market prices. Come explore this recreational paradise and make your dreams of owning exceptional Nashville acreage a reality for less. With 5+ acres and a new new cabin package for just $69.9. Best of all, these properties include first-class infrastructure like county water, electric, and county road frontage. All huge advantages in today's market. Appointment times are filling up fast. Call now to book your private tour. 615-437-6348. That's 615-437-6348. Cabin kit package for materials only. Delivered to site by third party. Taxes and delivery not included. Price is subject to change without notice or obligation. Call for complete details. An equal housing opportunity.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
We are good to go.
Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas.
Well, you've got the whole world listening. What do you got to say?
You're listening to Chase and Michelle, presented by Hair Club. Hair Club, love your hair, live your life. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Ooh, let's go. Is this Tina? David, is this Tina Turner? What this is?
It's What's Love Got to Do?
Yeah, that's Tina Turner.
What's love got to do?
Very well done. You didn't even know. No. Chase and Michelle, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay and Michelle Knezvik live today from Jasper's on West End Avenue, 1918 West End Avenue. And look, they got a lot of fun things going on. You can come and watch the tournament. You can get a beer and a shot for $10. The Nelson's Greenbrier Tennessee whiskey plus a bottle of domestic beer for just $10. They have upscale bar fare, oversized bar. Their TVs will have all the games on. They're going to be open in about 10 minutes, so you can come in and check it out. And so looking forward to being here all day. Caroline is here. Willie and D. Mace are going to be here. Jared is going to be here yelling about something. So it'll be great to come check it out throughout the day. But it's time for us to make some bets, make some picks. All of these lines coming from the Superbook Sports app, as Michelle and I both use, because you can there's D-Mace, looking fly as always. All the lines are up for the games today. We're each going to pick 3 that we like. We're just doing today, right?
Yeah, we'll just do today because we'll have you covered for tomorrow. We'll also be posting.
Yeah, I'm out tomorrow. Junie Riddle's going to fill in.
Correct. We might have a little special guest.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Okay, a little. I see what you did there. Little special guest. That will be fun. All right, ladies first. You get the first pick.
Okay, I'm going to start with the first game kicking off the tournament. We've got West Virginia and Maryland. Surprisingly, Maryland is an underdog in this one. I'm taking Maryland plus the 2.5. I'm also going to take them on the money line plus 125, Chase.
Okay, I like that. I will go with you there. I'm going to go Missouri plus 1.5 against Utah State. I would also take the money line. You know, we just talked to Kyle Tucker. A lot of people like Mizzou as kind of a dark horse, but Mizzou is a 1.5-point dog against Utah State. So give me the Tigers.
Chase, I love that one. And when we talked about Missouri, their coach, Dennis Gates, I mean, he is just locked in and focused. I think that team has a chance to win a couple games in the tournament. Love that plus 1.5. We're going to go to Orlando now. Joe Rexrode will be at this game. Furman and Virginia. Virginia is a 5.5-point favorite. I watched this Furman team win the tournament.
You're starting to sell me on that one, by the way.
I watched them lose to Chattanooga on a buzzer beater for the ticket to go to the tournament last year. We saw Chattanooga almost beat an Illinois team, so I think that this Furman team has the talent to upset Virginia today. Yes, I said upset. So not only plus the 5.5, I am also taking Furman plus the 200. They are the team that I think if we see an upset happen today, they're the ones I think that can do it, Chase.
All right, next one for me. I'm going to go to the SEC. Arkansas laying 2 points against Illinois. I really love Arkansas. And by the way, this is fantastic. I don't know if you've seen this. SEC Mike put this out. Sam Pittman was asked if he plans on filling out a March Madness bracket. He says, quote, "No, we get fired or something like that. I like the horses. That's legal, but the rest of it I can't do."
He likes the ponies.
He likes the ponies.
Who doesn't like the ponies?
Sam Pittman, go Hogs. What a gem. But I like Arkansas. Eric Musselman's team, I think they're pretty stout in this tournament, so give me them -2.
Okay, next up, we've got Howard in Kansas. There's an update earlier this morning that Bill Self will not be with the team in their first matchup today. He was having some health concerns, so he won't be with the team yet. Kansas is a 22-point favorite over Howard. Howard played University of Kentucky earlier this season, and Cal had a press conference, and he said, this is a tournament team. And that was the first game. So he said that at the beginning of the season. So for them to be a 22-point dog, I don't think they beat Kansas, but I think they cover that 22-point spread. So give me Howard plus the 22, Chase.
I was wondering if anyone would take a big spread. I like that. I think I will ride with you on that. I like that one.
It's a pretty big spread too.
I tweeted this out at Chase on Game, but we talked about this earlier. I like Boise State. I like Boise State +2 against Northwestern. I know Ryan from Chicago does not like that. But
I don't like that. I don't like that
one,
Chaser.
You don't like that either. But I like Boise. They play on a blue field. They don't play on a blue court. But I will take Boise +2.
Okay, I'll go opposite you on that one before I give my pick, because I like the Northwestern minus the 1.5. I think they get that win. I actually think Northwestern is an underrated team in this tournament. But moving on, we've got a 12 and a 5 seed, San Diego State and Charleston. I don't think San Diego State is as good as everybody says they are. I think Charleston will be able to give them a little run for their money.
I like this one.
So give me Charleston plus the 5.5, that 5-12 matchup we always talk about.
I actually have an upset there.
You have Charleston.
That is an upset that I have in my bracket. So
we love that.
I like that one for sure. So yeah, okay.
We should pick the Vols. Let's take a look.
Do we have to?
Yes, we have to. Tennessee and Louisiana. Tennessee is an 11-point favorite. I could see Louisiana winning by 8. I could see Tennessee winning by 20. I have no idea what to think about this Tennessee team, just like Kyle Tucker said. But I am going to say Tennessee on the money line, but I'm going to give Louisiana plus the 11, Chase.
See, I wouldn't even touch the money line. Minus 700. There's no value there.
Well, I just meant to tell people I don't think there's going to be an upset.
They'll win outright. I'll take the 11. I'll take Louisiana's 11.
Okay.
So there you go. There are our picks from the Superbook Sports app. You can download that app and place your bets. I'm going to get a few more in before things tip off, but it's here. We're at Jasper's, 1918 West End Avenue. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace are coming up next. They will have all the coverage of the tournament and also what's happening in free agency and the Preds in action tonight. That is all ahead here on 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
They're insightful.
To me, you got a left guard situation you got to figure out.
Credible.
I trust this guy more than this guy.
But sometimes they just argue.
Why do you like the NFL playoffs? Those teams lose. I don't want college football to be the NFL. When they get...
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. Weekdays from 6 to 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Gary Ashton here. People walk up to me all the time and say, don't sell without the intel. This message couldn't be more true. Right now, it's a fantastic time to buy or sell your home in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. No one has more intel than the Gary Ashton team. So what is this intel we keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without stagings or showings? Intel on where to find your next home so that you can sell your current home while the market is hot? And intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity. For more intel, visit GaryAshton.com. where we can give you the insight and the most up-to-date real estate intel in Nashville. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate team of the Nashville Predators. Get the confidence to sell your home and find the dream address without the stress. Visit us today at GaryAshton.com. That's GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Bob's Steak and Chop House in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hi, this is Chef Mark at Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Hotel. Looking for a romantic dinner with that special someone? Be sure to join us and try one of our signature dishes, like our Australian cold water lobster tail, flash fried to perfection, and tossed in lemon butter. Did I also mention we've won the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence 7 consecutive years? Come join us for a memorable meal here at Omni and be sure to ask for Chef Mark.
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Bob's Steak and Chop House in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Starting this Sunday, it's the Electronic Express Famous Half Price Fair. Get incredible savings on all 4K TVs, appliances, home audio, computers and tablets, housewares, and more. Save up to 50% in every department. You'll not find a lower price anywhere. We guarantee it. The Famous Half Price Fair. It's first come, first served. Starting this Sunday, 10 a.m. at all Electronic Express locations. And get up to 3 years free financing. The Electronic Express Famous Half Price Fair starts this Sunday at 10 a.m.
We do screen printing.
Music City Screen Prints.
We do embroidery.
Music City Screen Prints.
We do large format printing.
Music City Screen Prints.
We do promotional goods.
Music City Screen Prints.
We do graphic design.
Music City Screen Prints.
MCScreenprints.com. That's MCScreenprints with an S.com. 615-866-6010.
You think it, we print it.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FIND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FIND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FIND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Your Game Center update.
Tom Pelissero reported that the Cincinnati Bengals are signing four-time Pro Bowl tackle Orlando Brown Jr., a 4-year, $64 million deal with about $31 million in signing bonus, the largest ever for an offensive lineman. The Dallas Cowboys have released Ezekiel Elliott, and Aaron Rodgers joined the Pat McAfee Show on Wednesday to let the world know where he wants to play next year.
At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
And I haven't been holding anything up at this point. It's been compensation that the Packers are trying to get for me and kind of digging their heels in. So I would just, I think it is interesting at this point to step back and look at the whole picture.
Today, the tournament officially begins. The Tennessee Volunteers will tip off at 8:40 tonight against Louisiana. And Vanderbilt advanced to the second round of the NIT and will take on the Michigan Wolverines Saturday morning at 11 a.m. This report is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezvik for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 102.5 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Tonight, your Nashville Predators continue their homestand against the Chicago Blackhawks. Coverage begins at 6 on your home for Smashville. WPRT FM Grove, WBUC HD2 Laverne, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personality of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game in the Game Nashville app. We are live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook Sports. D-Mace, how we doing? Happy March Madness, everybody.
Hey, happy March Madness. Go green, go white. For all my Sparties out there. Michelle shaking her head.
You got some love here in Jasper, somebody across the way.
Go
the
white.
Spartans are everywhere.
Yes,
Willie Donick, how we doing?
I'm doing well. I watched the first four last night. What was my adage I said on the shows? The late great CM Newton, the guy who gave me a scholarship to Vanderbilt. He was the chairman of the selection committee. Once upon a time, he used to say, show me you can beat an NCAA team on a neutral or road court. That he was looking for when he made the selections. I noted that Nevada had not done either one of those. How'd Nevada do last
And
night?
they got that butt whooped last night.
Nevada did not have one of those.
AJ Brown level butt whooping.
Yeah, but I'm not bitter or anything. I'm not bitter. I'm over it.
Sure? You
I'm
sure
over
you're over it?
No, I'm not over it.
Willie,
I'm
you
not
can
over
always
it.
be bitter.
I'm not
it's
over
okay.
it.
We'll allow it.
I'm not over it.
We're out here at Jasper's on West End Avenue. We'll be hanging out here all day long. This is my first time being at Jasper's. This place is awesome. So
Pretty
come out.
cool.
They just opened. Come out to Jasper's, watch the games, grab a beer, grab a shot of whiskey, grab some wings. They have great food here. We'll be
It
hanging
should
at
be a
Jasper's.
national holiday. Let's
It
just
is a
get
national
it should be a
holiday.
just come on
Happy
over.
March
Come to
Madness.
Jasper's, have some fun, watch the games. It's American. Be an
all,
American.
We all know you all took off work anyways.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you're
Nobody's
cough
working
sick
today.
Y'all
today.
at the bar anyway,
Yeah.
so it don't matter.
Crazy how everybody
Y'all
all of a
call
sudden is getting sick.
I'm sick. Yeah, okay. You got March
I
Madness
feel a
fever.
fever coming on. Yeah, it's March Madness fever. Well, we'll get into all of the March Madness picks, our thoughts on the game last night, our thoughts on the upcoming games throughout the rest of the tournament. But I want to start here because I have seen throughout free agency, honestly, I've been pretty impressed with the moves that the Titans have made. Not that they've been splashy moves, not that they've been big-time marquee moves, but I feel like all of these moves have been very calculated. That it's moves they go out and get a player to fill a position of need, and it's not flashy, but you can get them on the cheap. You can find a player with a high upside. You find those players that Rand Carthon knows from San Francisco and can kind of attest to their character, attest to their ability. And I thought, okay, they are really going into this in a very calculated way. Until I saw the news yesterday that the Tennessee Titans placed a second-round tender on Aaron Brewer, worth $4.3 million. Now, I thought this whole time that the Titans were going to bring back Aaron Brewer because I thought, okay, that's one less position that you might not need to go get in the draft or in free agency on the offensive line. And if it just so happens that you find either a guard or a center in the draft that's better than Aaron Brewer, then you pay him a low enough salary that you feel comfortable just sitting him on the bench and using him as more so a reserve